What's up, guys? I'm Chad Barnes, and welcome to the channel. Here, it's all about real car talk, from simple fixes to smart driving tips and keeping your ride in top shape. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, and make sure you watch all the way through. There's a lot of good stuff coming. Let's get to it.
One of the most important parameters of any battery is the cold cranking current. This is the current which the battery is able to give to the load at an ambient temperature of minus 18 degrees Celsius. And for advanced car owners, this figure is the most important when choosing a new battery. But today, when even domestic batteries have risen in price to 5,000 to 6,000 rubles, most motorists are forced to save money and refuse to choose the best of the available when buying spare parts. A rare car, even a small car, nowadays has a standard battery with a cold cranking current of less than 400 amperes. And more often than not, especially in those car models that manufacturers call adapted for Russia, such batteries are equipped with cars with 1.2 to 1.6-liter engines. However, even when the battery is planted in zero, in other words, without the standard battery at all, they are easily powered by lithium-ion boosters with a peak current of only 300 amperes and a nominal current of 150 amperes. Let's say more when we tested subcompact starting booster with peak current of 300 amperes and rated current of 150 amperes, originally designed by the manufacturer for engines not more than 1.6 liters, we easily started 2-liter engines with its help. Violating, of course, the manual, but we started them, and confidently. And this may lead the average person to think that somewhere he is being deceived. And the question will arise, if a 300-amp gadget the size of a smartphone is more than enough even to start a 2-liter engine, why do you need a starting current of 500 amperes in the regular battery of a car with a 1.6-liter engine in this case? And one of our meticulous readers even did some simple arithmetic and came to conclusions that surprised him. In the description of any starter there is always a parameter of nameplate power. In most passenger cars it is in the range from 800 to 1500 watts. This is not a secret figure at all, it can be seen in the description of the starter on almost all major spare parts ordering sites. And even more so on the manufacturer's resources. Our reader found the characteristics of the starter of his quite mass and popular Kia Rio. In them there is a figure of 0.9 kilowatts. That is 900 watts. And, dividing the power in watts by the voltage of the onboard network of 12 volts, he received the current consumption of the starter. 900 divided by 12 is equal to 75 amperes. 75 amperes, only 75. He exulted. And we, fools, when buying a battery, focus first of all on the cold cranking current, choosing the model where it is bigger. In cheap batteries with capacity of about 55 to 60 ampere-hours it is 400 to 450 ampere. In expensive and quality batteries with the same capacity and dimensions, 600 to 650 ampere. The standard Rio battery from the factory has parameters of 60 ampere-hours and 440 amperes of starting current. But why all this if the starter needs only 75? Well, taking into account frosty winters, let it be 100. But even in this case the battery can be 2 to 3 times lighter, more compact, and, accordingly, cheaper than the one under the hood now. You can save money on buying a new battery, and those who are concerned with sporty driving can save kilograms by using a battery of much lower weight. The same with starting boosters. If you suddenly need to buy such a gadget, 4 engines up to 3 liters, you can safely take the lowest powered one, and its energy will be enough with a large reserve. In a word, it's a real plus. Such reasoning is nice, but unfortunately wrong. Any textbook on electric machines, I mean, not electric cars, but electric motors and generators, tells us the standard international system of marking the power of an electric motor, including, of course, the automotive starter, implies the indication of the power consumed at idle. The power of 900 watts specified for the Rio starter, as well as the nameplate power for any other starter, is the power that is consumed from the battery when the starter is turning itself, without load. In other words, the very calculated 75 amperes Rio starter consumes when lying in the garage on the workbench and connected by wires to the battery. And this is without taking into account the current consumption of the retractor relay, 12.5 amperes, which should be added to 75. and at the moment of pulling the starter rotor from the place, again, without load, there will be a short-term surge of current. 1.5 times more than the rated operating current, our notorious 75 amperes. That is, you can see on the arrow or display of the ammeter connected in the starter circuit more or less stable figure 75 only. After the starter is fully cranked. Accordingly, under load in the form of the engine crankshaft, the starter will require from the battery, standard or booster, quite a different current, 2 to 3 times higher than the nominal, depending on the viscosity of the oil and ambient temperature. Plus, in a real car, not in laboratory conditions, to the starter current is added the total current of numerous electronic blocks that are switched on or simply massively polled by the control unit after turning the ignition key. So, alas, you can't get by with a battery with starting current 2 or more times less than the passport current and the size of 2 fists. But it was so desirable. In conclusion, while the starting current of a starter motor may seem like a straightforward metric for selecting a battery, it is crucial to understand that this figure alone does not provide a complete picture. Factors such as battery capacity, discharge rates, and the overall health of the electrical system play significant roles in ensuring reliable engine starts. By considering these elements together, you can make a more informed decision when choosing a battery that meets your vehicle's needs. Remember, a well-matched battery not only enhances performance but also extends the lifespan of your starter and other components. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more insights on automotive care.